Hey friends, it's been a hot minute, but casting has started, so we're here and we're excited. Hello, people of the internet. Welcome back to another one of my videos where I have zero fancy equipment and just try to make decent Rick Riordan content. So today we are giving an update about the adaptations that Rick Riordan and Becky Riordan are working on right now. And it's super exciting and I'm super excited. But before we get into that, I want to give a quick disclaimer about any artwork I use in this video is not my artwork. It is other people's artwork, so if you want to check out their art, I will post links to their social medias or websites or whatever I can find down below, and you can check them out. But this is not my art, so give them the credit. Okay, moving on. We're finally here! Oh my gods, after so long, waiting and waiting. Actually, it hasn't been that long, honestly. It's been a year since the official announcement that an adaptation was in the works for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, a live-action series at Disney Plus. And it's almost been a year, I think, since the official announcement that there was a live-action adaptation for the Kane Chronicles in development at Netflix. So let's just give a brief rundown that I went through in my last video of what's currently going on, and then I'll get into a little more of where we are now, which is the newest update, because we've slowly, very, very slowly started with casting. If you weren't aware, New York Times bestselling author Rick Riordan announced last year that his first series, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, was going to be in development at Disney Plus for a live-action TV show adaptation. Now, that doesn't mean that all seasons are confirmed right now. It only means that they're in development currently for season 1, in which Rick Riordan has been working on the pilot script with the other writers. And so if you're worried about him not having a big say in what's going on, please don't worry. You will find out through this video that you do not have to worry about that at all. Rick and Becky Riordan are our saviors, and I am just so excited to see this whole process play out. And I honestly hope they make a behind-the-scenes documentary about it like they did with the making of Frozen 2, because I want to know everything. But that's just half of it. That's just half of what's going on right now. Later in 2020, Rick released a video saying this.
Hey everybody, want some more exciting news? We're developing the Kane Chronicles as feature films for Netflix. Yes! More news soon.
Yay! But we all know, of course, what has been going on since then. It's been essentially the same process as what's been happening with Percy Jackson and the Olympians at Disney Plus, except it's at Netflix. And Rick hasn't directly been working on that script, but they have a team in London that's been working on it, and it's gonna be so amazing. So some of you might be wondering, if Rick is helping with the writing at Disney Plus, then how come he's not doing it with the team at Netflix? Well, he's one man. Give him a break. Rick has also been writing still. He's still writing. He's still going at it. He's currently getting ready to release his standalone book, Daughter of the Deep, later this year, and I'm super excited for that too. It sounds like an awesome undersea, action adventure. We're never going to be deprived of Rick Riordan content. It's just always going to be there, and I love him for that. But how are they keeping the connection between Disney Plus and Netflix going smooth? Because they're two completely different enterprises, and it doesn't seem very likely that they would be able to have the same say in both. Right? That, my friends, is where you're wrong. Introducing Mythomagic, the production company that Rick and Becky Riordan created so that they could oversee all projects involving Rick's adaptations. You know all those annoying logos that you see at the beginning of movies and sometimes you feel like there's 10 of them that you have to sit through? Yeah, Mythomagic is going to be one of them for the TV show and the movie on Netflix. But it's really cool because they already have their animation and the sword and pen in the animation is Riptide. Check this out. Yeah. This is really happening, guys. Rick is super involved, Becky is super involved. They're excited. They have such high hopes for the future of these adaptations. And they think that these can go really far. They think that we can build a new part of the fandom. They think that we can expand. They think that we can achieve things that we've always wanted to, but failed with the last adaptations. Really though, Logan Lerman as Poseidon, like, I'm definitely on board with the rest of you. Okay, so where are we with the actual process? Well, I wouldn't say we're officially greenlit for Percy Jackson the Olympian Season 1 that follows the plot of The Lightning Thief, but the script is basically done for the first episode, which will set the tone for the rest of the season and possibly for the rest of the series, even though tones might change from season to season because just, characters grow up, they mature, they go through character arcs and stuff. There's a war in the entire last book and there's death and stuff. But just the general feel of the show and what it's going to be like, especially when it comes to things like pacing and Rick's humor. Scripts are constantly changing during the film process, and I've seen a lot of different behind the scenes documentaries and movie commentaries by directors and stuff to know that you're literally making changes to what's shown in the movie or TV show and what's actually said from the script up until you release it, because there's just constant adding in and cutting things out. Sometimes there's a lot of improvisation. So the scripts probably will change a lot still, even though it's essentially approved and ready to go. As far as the Kane Chronicles go, I think they're still working on the script because there just really hasn't been as many updates for that. And I think that's because since those are going to be feature films on Netflix instead of episodes for a season of a TV show, it's a lot more to handle, like an entire movie script for the Red Pyramid, not just, oh, let's do a first episode script. A movie script is a lot bigger, so I think that process is just taking longer, and that's why we don't already see preliminary casting roles for the main characters yet. Which brings me to the whole reason I'm making this video. The preliminary casting call for the role of Percy Jackson is currently available. I don't know for how long they're taking all this stuff into account. I will link to the official statement below from Rick Riordan so that you can check out all the little details about casting. But if you're just looking about, have they casted someone yet? When will they cast someone? Well, they're currently casting for one person right now, the main title character, because he's the most important. Rick said in his press release that the main reason they're only doing Percy right now is because whoever they cast as Percy will set the ball rolling for the rest of the cast to form and develop and come together. They are going to pick the person who best embodies Percy Jackson. They're not going to look for things like his race background or even that he's only 12. If they can play 12 and grow up and play the part of Percy growing, then they're going to hire whoever this kid is going to be. So say you have an 11-year-old that looks like they could pass for a 12-year-old, or maybe a 13 or 14-year-old that still looks like they're 12 and can play 12, they're probably going to cast them. There's no restrictions regarding that. This process is going to be slow going with the actual filming because all of the main cast are going to be minors, and there's a lot of child labor laws in my country, so they're just going to have to keep that slow. America is strict on some things and not strict on other things, and it kind of drives me insane, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Rick Riordan. I assume that once the Kane Chronicles script gets to where the Lightning Thief script is right now, they will also start preliminary casting calls for the roles of Carter and Sadie Kane, which is going to be super exciting. Our favorite sibling duo, besides Nico and Hazel, and Sam and Alex. There's a lot of really cool sibling duos in the Riordan-verse, and I love them all. I think they're all great. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, everything is going to have to continue to be approved for the process to keep going. How are they going to build the sets? Are they going to build them, or are they going to film on location? How are they going to plan out the rest of the seasons? What parts of the book are going to be each episode? Are we even going to get an approved second season? Well, that depends on us. If we watch this show and we give it views and we give it good reviews and we give our heart and souls into this project, we will get more adaptations. How long has it been like that? If we pour our heart and souls into these adaptations, they're going to continue to make them. So if your favorite series is The Heroes of Olympus, like mine is, we're not guaranteed that. Not right now, at least. If we get these adaptations to be a major success, we are going to continue to get adaptations. In what form? It's too early to say. It's way too early to even say that we're even getting these, obviously. Because for right now, these adaptations are going to be live action. But that might change. If these actors grow up like the way we want them to, like we saw happen with the Harry Potter cast, then by the time they reach a certain age, yeah, they'll look like they've stopped growing. But will they really be fit to play a 18-year-old Percy Jackson in the last book of the Trials of Apollo series? I don't know. So later adaptations, if they're approved, because this has to be a major success first, might end up being animated. Or maybe they'll animate a bunch of the side books and short stories. Like, I don't know. But right now, it's live action adaptations. If the future adaptations do get approved, where would they go? Is a big question I asked myself when Rick announced that the Kane Chronicles were going to be on Netflix, because... Excuse me, sir, what? I was so taken off guard by that. The first thing out of my mouth was, what about the crossovers? Because seriously, I love the crossovers. If you didn't know, Rick Riordan wrote crossovers between Percy Jackson and the Kane Chronicles. In this book right here, Demigods and Magicians, this is my very special, accidentally upside down printed Target copy. It probably wasn't only at Target though, but, yeah, it's... I mean, just, like, why? Why is it like this? I don't understand. I genuinely do not know how this happened or why, but it's amazing, and I don't know. But there are 3 crossovers between Percy Jackson and the Kane Chronicles. There are references to other series in the Riordanverse, like the Heroes of Olympus, in those books, but it's not too essential unless you want to get spoiled that Percy and Annabeth survive in the Heroes of Olympus. Shocker. But right now, the crossovers, as was later announced by Becky on Twitter, are frozen. In a statement on Twitter, Becky said, "The only downside to this, being that the Kane Chronicles are going to be on Netflix, for the readers is that it will mean absolutely no crossovers for Percy and Kane's ever. Rick's crossover stories are what are called frozen rights. They needed to be frozen, not available, so there was no confusion about who owned what rights." Which makes sense, but it's very sad because I love the crossovers, and we're probably never going to see them unless Disney and Netflix pull their shiz together and give us what we want. Y'all thought Avengers was the crossover of the century? Oh, sweeties. That's cute. But really, though, it would have been so awesome. Maybe one day we might get them, but for now, if any future adaptations are approved and are starting the process of what we're going through right now, they're probably going to have to be through Disney, because Annabeth is literally in all the other series in the Riordanverse. And if Disney currently owns the rights to Annabeth's character on screen, then she's gonna have to stay with them. So that means Heroes of Olympus through Disney, Magnus Chase through Disney, Trials of Apollo through Disney. And that's funny because she doesn't even physically show up until... I won't say anything, because I won't give spoilers for people who haven't read the Trials of Apollo, but you should, because it finishes the character arcs of all the 7. And you might cry a bit. Like a lot. So yeah, that's all the information and speculation and theories that I have on future adaptations, on crossovers, on anything like that. Right now, we just know what we know. And that's that they started preliminary casting for Percy Jackson, and they're still working on the Kane Chronicles script. Remember, when these come out, we have to give them views, and we have to give them good reviews, and we have to absolutely lift them on our shoulders and promote them to the highest degree. Because if we don't, we won't get more. Do you think they're just gonna automatically make the rest of the seasons for Percy Jackson? No! If the first season tanks, they're going to cancel it, and we can't have that happen. Not after we've come so far. I can't. Not again. Maybe if they do good, we'll get a theme park. because oh my gods, I want to walk around Camp Half-Blood. I want to walk around Camp Half-Blood so hard, y'all. I want to eat the dining pavilion. I want official merch. I want to watch the fireworks on the beach at night, like you can watch the fireworks at the Disney Castle show. I want all of it, but for Percy Jackson. We can do it. We can continue to be patient. Stop bothering Rick and Becky on social media. Oh my gods, leave them alone. If we absolutely commit ourselves, which I know we're going to, these are going to turn out amazing. And I honestly can't wait to see all of it. Links to all information that I got most of the stuff from will be below, so you can check everything out for yourself. Don't take my word for it, take Rick's. If you want instant updates on this process and anything else Rick Riordan related, follow Rick and Becky on Twitter is the fastest way that you will get updates for them. Instantly, you will be notified. Hey, Rick posted something. Hey, Becky is giving a little tidbit about something. But Rick's social media posts are actually made by Ashley, who previously ran the Lightning Thief musical account, and she's currently running Rick's social media accounts. So she's the one making the tweets, but Rick is kind of telling her what to put. Any time we get some news on the guacamole recipe, it'll be on Twitter. Okay, everyone, that's it. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe or anything because it's just fun stuff I do for my friends and just because I love Rick Riordan. So just stay safe, stay healthy, and be kind to each other because that's what this world needs and that's what Rick would want us to do.